Martyn, congratulations on winning the Design Icon for 2020.
Thank you so much. Amazing.
First of all, you've done everything from celebrity homes to lighting collections, product design. What are some of the design elements that you feel like you can incorporate into your work that really span all budgets, all geographies for your customers?
Well, the most important part of everything is lighting. Lighting is such a vital element to every room. You can have the most beautiful room, but if it's badly lit or overlit or too underlit, you lose all of the ambiance, you lose all of the power. So it doesn't matter what budget you are, a dimmer switch is your best friend. I mean, literally, it's that simple. A dimmer switch, you can go to the DIY store, you can buy it for $20. It completely can change the ambiance of your room. And it's the easiest trick, but certainly the most effective.
Is there a sort of an ideal mix that you think between chandeliers, table lighting? How do you mix that up as well?
Nobody ever wants to have lighting above their head, directly above their head. It's very aging. It's not flattering. And wherever we are, whoever we are, you want to feel good in an interior. You want to look sexy in an interior. So for me, direct overhead lighting doesn't work. A chandelier as a central moment within a room is very important, I think, for sure. Mm-hmm. I also believe that, good art lighting makes for something very important within the space. But I love lamp lighting and I love wall sconces because they flush light into certain areas that creates, again, a romantic ambiance that really will highlight the interior of a room, but very importantly, will highlight you in the most flattering way.
Ah, lovely. We're here in your studio, your shop in West Hollywood, and, we see a lot of different elements here. Obviously, you're the icon because you have tremendous influence within the industry. Who are some of the people that have influenced you or some of the places that have influenced you throughout your career?
Oh, my goodness. My number one influence has got to be travel. Travel is the most inspirational thing. And it doesn't even need to be far, to be honest. You could literally get on a bus and go, to San Francisco from LA and be super inspired by what you see along the way as well as when you get there. Experiencing new people, new smells, new looks, new atmosphere. All of that really ends up being something that will end inevitably to inspire me in some way or the other. Whether it's a color combination that ends up in a fabric line, whether it's the shape of a ceiling or a dome of a cathedral in Florence, maybe that'll end up as a lampshade or as some kind of fixture. Again, you never know where and what it's going to do, but you have to be open to it because that's how we fill ourselves with these wonderful moments that at some point or the other we draw from and get creative.
So true confession, we've been Instagram stalking you a little bit. Speaking of travel, the Egypt trip, were there things there that you brought back with you that have kind of set your creative juices on fire for upcoming projects?
Egypt was extraordinary. Honestly, to go and experience a place that the only existing ancient wonder of the world still survives in, along with so many other incredible things, 3,000-year-old tombs, just amazing things. There was so much there that was so inspirational. I mean, to take sort of Egyptian hieroglyphics and things like that into modern day living, into modern day style, obviously doesn't translate terribly well. But it's the idea of the colors, again, some of the shapes, just the beauty and symmetry of the way that they designed and created. All of those things for me are going to end up being something that somehow or the other works its way into my work, into my products, into my license deals. Maybe somehow or the other we'll do something in I really actually, saying that, we're already starting to design a new line of bedding, and within that I've actually taken some shapes and some styles that we saw engraved on the walls of the great tombs of Karnak, the great temples of Karnak.
Wonderful.
And it actually looks extremely modern, especially now I'm seeing the samples done in stitch work, in embroidery.
Right.
So it's already started, yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. Was there any part of that trip that, one moment in that trip that just stopped you in your tracks with what you were seeing or what you were taking in?
Oh my God. I mean, every single day was another astounding thing to see. There was never a dull moment, literally, of beauty. We were very lucky we got to sail down the Nile in a beautiful dilaba, which is kind of the traditional boats there.
Yeah.
And you suddenly would look and you realized, oh my God, I'm seeing the same visual, the same shoreline, the same experience that Cleopatra did when she went down on her barge 2,000 years ago.
Incredible.
Because it hasn't changed. It's exactly the same. The reed rushes where Moses was found, I'm sure that I went past those too, because it all is there.
Yes.
So from that perspective, what a trip, what an amazing place. I've wanted to go for so many years. We had a trip planned many, many years ago to go with Elizabeth Taylor. And right before we went, she fell and broke her hip, I think. And so we ended up not going, but that would have been fun, going to Egypt with Cleopatra.
With Cleopatra, that would have been incredible. So we'll shift locales a little bit. We'll come back to the West Coast. Talk a little bit about how, without it, I know you don't do anything cliche, but how do you incorporate this West Coast lifestyle, this West Coast vibe in your projects where your clients are asking for that?
I think that the California style is something that is really interesting to translate into worldly interiors, because there's an ease of style here, there's an ease of living. We get to experience much more of an indoor-outdoor lifestyle, and that is a wonderful thing. Now, obviously, you can't do that maybe in London or other places where it's cold half of the year, but there is a thing about making things feel more casual and really using all of your spaces in a way that feels modern and fresh. And so that I think I really infuse into all of my work, whether it's a 12th century castle in the middle of Italy or a beach house in Palm Beach, for instance. That little bit of California infusion really goes a long way. For me, the ultimate luxury is comfort. Mm-hmm. And I believe that is really the saying for our 21st century. So comfort is achieved for me mostly within the soft furnishings. We like things a little bit deeper, a little bit softer, a few more pillows. There's a real look that actually really emanated from California in the 70s and 80s of that kind of vibe. And so we're fine-tuning that and making that experience work within other pieces in and around the way we do the homes. So yes, there is a touch of California going on almost in everywhere I work.
It's interesting because you were pointing out sort of the individual characteristics with some of your projects. And we know consumer research now is that they want to spend money on experiences, and we all do as well. And yet home is the ultimate setting for experiences. How do you help your clients really translate who they are and what they want their experience of home to be into your design?
Yeah. So many of my clients need their homes to be their sanctuaries. I mean, particularly the celebrity clients. Sometimes it's difficult for them to even go out, or when they go out, they're so mobbed that they really just want to be back home. Mm-hmm. So it's really getting an understanding of what somebody wants the most out of their home and creating those spaces, whether it's an incredible home theater, whether it's the need to have, as with all sort of the Kardashian Jenner clan, have these glam rooms where you can get ready and fully pampered and sparring and everything within your own home and not have to go anywhere to achieve that. I think it's a goal of being able to sit down at the very beginning and really hash out with your clients what it is that they love, what they want out of their home, what they love about a hotel, what's their favorite restaurant, where's their favorite country, what's their favorite type of vacation. Once you get all those little tidbits, you can start to take them and piece them together and make kind of a jigsaw puzzle in essence until you complete the real picture. And that picture normally is a really big faceted side of the client's personality. And from that, we feed that into the interior and hopefully create their dream homes.
Where's the most unusual place, or what is the most unusual item you've ever incorporated into one of your projects for your client?
Wow, my goodness, there are so many crazy and interesting and mad things that we've done along the way. I actually had a client that wanted a bear, a taxidermy bear, an antique taxidermy bear, might I add. It was 100 years old. A giant Russian bear incorporated into a closet, so that they were great pranksters. And so they had in the guest room this enormous bear buried half into the wall.
Oh my gosh.
And so when the guests came and opened the door to hang their clothes up, it looked like a giant bear was coming out of them. I mean, it was very eccentric and kind of hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
And I wouldn't have wanted to be the guest arriving on a dark night and seeing that.
Oh my gosh.
But that was
funny.
kind of a mad thing. But no, we've had some crazy things. I was asked once to gold leaf the interior of a garage. I was actually asked by somebody to create a hidden sex room that
wow. My
looked
goodness.
like a black patent leather Chanel handbag. Yeah, so you never know what's gonna turn up next. Yes,
Fabulous.
It's been pretty wild.
That's yeah, interesting. So how about your own home? What are a few of your favorite things in your own home?
Well, my very favourite thing in my own home is my dog, Daisy.
Oh, what kind of dog?
She's a Wheaton Terrier.
Oh, wonderful.
She's amazing. No, I love watching movies. I'm actually a member of the British Academy of Film and Television Artists. And so I get to vote on the BAFTAs, and we kind of receive all the screeners of all the latest movies and shows. And so for me, one of the joys and one of the ways that I relax is sitting and watching movies. And so I do have kind of a really wonderfully comfortable little mini screening room where we all curl up at night and watch a movie and maybe have a glass of wine. It's the ultimate kind of wind down zone for me. It becomes my sanctuary. Mm-hmm. I've also got a really cute little bar that actually opens up to an outdoor fire pit area. So it's sort of very indoor-outdoor experience, and it becomes a really favourite spot for people when I'm entertaining, when I'm having a dinner, or people coming over to watch a movie maybe. Mm-hmm. Everybody kind of congregates there first for a drink, and it's great to have that experience. I'm lucky I've got the space to have those things in my home, but they are two of my favourite areas. Culminated, of course, with my closet, which is really my favourite space.
Okay. What's the most unusual item in your home?
Oh, goodness. Well, my home's filled with things that I love, but it's also very curated, and it also is often changing because I'll bring something new in and I'll send something to storage, I'll move things around. I often feel that a great way to experience your possessions is to move them every 6 months. Because, grandma's clock on the mantelpiece, sometimes you forget it's there, but if you move it and put it on a chest in the entry, you're re-experiencing it again. So I often keep things evolving and moving, but I think the most unusual thing probably is I have this extraordinary light sculpture in my entry hall at the moment, which is an amazing work of art that you look into and it goes on to infinity, but you can never see yourself reflected into any of the lights or the mirrors on the interior.
Oh, wow.
So it's an extraordinary Anthony James piece, and it's really something amazing, and it captures everybody's imagination who sees it. So I think that's probably one of the more unusual pieces in my house.
So it's unusual. Is that maybe your most prized possession, or is there something else that...
I think my most prized possession is something it has absolutely no value to anybody else other than myself, it's a cross that belonged to my great grandmother, that was then my grandmother's, and then passed down to me. And it's just
lovely.
something that had lived in their homes. My great grandmother was Italian. Not a precious thing, but it's precious to me because somehow it's something that they all had loved and spent time engaging with. And so, for more than anything else, I feel that there's an energy with that piece that I love.
Energy, absolutely.
Yeah, I've got amazing, I have fabulous art, and I've got lots of beautiful things in my home. But sometimes it's the simplest things that mean the most to us.
Let's play sort of a game. Dream design project. You've done a lot. You've been a lot of places, done a lot of different types of clients. If you tomorrow could do anything, any project, what would you choose?
Oh, goodness. I've been so lucky along the way that I've managed to do so many amazing things I never thought I was going to be able to. And at the moment, we're in the middle of doing lots of hotels, which is really fun because hotels allow a much larger audience to see your work than, a private home is maybe 50 people of friends and family, whereas a hotel, you can have 50,000 a year. So it's sort of an amazing, 50,000 a month even sometimes. I mean, it's an amazing kind of extension of your brand and people seeing it, and there's always great fantasy in it. So I do love that. I love the idea of doing more hotels and maybe revamping some of the great old hotels that have a wonderful history to them and kind of breathe new life into them. That could be an amazing next bow to play on. But I also really like the idea. I've never done a private island.
Oh, nice.
I've done a lot of beautiful villas on islands and things like that. But to do a complete private island where you make the whole thing into one extraordinary design experience, I think could be amazing.
Awesome. Again, we are honoring you as icon
Amazing.
For your
Thank
accomplishments. How does that feel? How does that feel at this stage of your career to be iconic?
When I first heard it, I thought, oh my God, I must be really old because you have to be old to be an icon. No. But now I've eased into that thought. I've had an amazing journey. I came to Los Angeles when I was 22 years old, with stars in my eyes, thought I was going to become an actor. Flailed around, had a crazy time, and I tripped up literally into this career. And for the last 28 years, I've had my own business, and it has gone from strength to strength. And again, I've been so lucky to work with the incredible clients I've worked with, meet the most extraordinary people. I'm so honored that I've been offered so many licenses to be able to design things that other people are then using, which is the greatest compliment. Full circle, ended up filming a bunch of TV shows and more of those to come in 2020, which is kind of amazing. And so it has been a real dream. It's kind of, I often say it's my Hollywood story in reverse, because it really coming here to become an actor and then becoming sort of well known in a completely different career that you trip into is the kind of thing that only can happen here.
Right.
So I'm really, really honored, and I feel, as I hate to use that word because it's so overused, but I do feel very blessed of everything that's come into my life. And now to be an icon too, well, hey.
Hey. I want to go back
I'm claiming that as a young icon, of course.
What is coming up in 2020? You mentioned more of the television project.
Yeah, I've actually got 3 TV show projects in the work at the moment, and I think we'll probably film 2 of them next year, which will be fantastic.
Wonderful.
Really great travel, design-inspired show, and another very, very fun, feel-good design show, which is sort of what we all want to see.
Yeah.
And I have a bunch of new product coming out, refreshing lines of some of my existing collections. And then there are several new collections, including bedding, which I've wanted to do for a long time. And so now we're doing bedding, a bathroom, and that kind of stuff, which is great fun. And I even got great things like recoloring the luck on new cookers and, really fun things that are totally unexpected, but somehow
Oh my gosh.
it's another great element to add into what I already do. I have some amazing new clients. We've got projects all over the world, projects in a few places that I've never worked in before, which is very fun. Like St. Bart's, we're doing a big estate in, and we're just finishing up something amazing in Cabo in Mexico. And I've got some wonderful projects in Europe. I've got some very fun things. We also will have the opening of the Four Seasons residences here in Los Angeles, which I've been working on for 3 years, and finally it's finished and looks extraordinary, and the architecture is amazing, so that's really super fun. And there's a lot to look forward to in 2020 where we are really excited.
It's going to be a busy
year, yeah.
So we'll wrap up, and I'll give you a couple. I feel like I'm springing this on you, but if there is a quote that you would think of to define your career, define your life, something that is your kind of go-to mantra, what would it be?
Live, love, and decorate.
Very good. Anything else that you would like people to know about? Anything else that you would like to add about your work, your lines, what you're doing?
I love the fact that we are constantly challenged with new projects and experiences. I, unlike a lot of designers who only have one look, one vibe, don't. We do everything and have done everything. And so for me, I'm always excited to have a new challenge. I think it keeps me on my toes. I think it keeps my team fresh, and it keeps everybody excited. And, the fact that we end up getting to do these wild and wonderful things is truly amazing. So I'm so looking forward to going forward with more of that. And I just want to say to everybody out there, particularly to people, aspiring designers, to follow their heart. I am living a dream that I didn't even realize I had. And it's only come to fruition because I believed in myself and what I do. And then I was lucky enough to find that other people enjoyed that also. So believe in yourself. Don't follow the crowd. Don't follow a trend. Make your own trends. Be a leader. Believe in yourself. And go design the world.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Congratulations again.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed that. And remember, there's much more coming your way. Follow us on YouTube or wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And don't forget, there's always something exciting happening at Market. Go to our website, check out the future market dates, get your registration in early.